Hey everybody, thanks for pressing play. In this video I'm going to show you around this car here. This is a 9-speed automatic diesel Honda Civic, and this is what's called the Smart Plus specification. These cars are an excellent cruiser with a really nice gearbox. It's easy on fuel and there's a good level of specification. And this particular example has a couple of nice little features on it that make a difference than the other 9-speed automatic Smart Pluses. If there's any information you want on this car,
Brian is my name, 086843 1945. Fitzpatrick's garage, Kildare town.
So if you want to find out more about the car itself, or if you want to find out about financing the car, or if you want to find out about trading in your own car from it, or scrappage, or whatever it is, don't be afraid to give me a shout. Or if you're watching on YouTube and you want to know something more about these types of cars, just let me know in the comment section below.
One thing about these cars is they actually don't make them anymore. This 9-speed automatic was disbanded in 2021, and the diesel Civic is no longer available. So if you want to buy a diesel Civic, this is actually the last off that model, especially in an automatic as well.
Now sometimes people get spooked about that idea because they say, well, you know, I don't want to buy the very last of an old model, or, you know, something like that. Or there's people there that are worried about buying a diesel car. Here's the thing, right, and I've seen this over the years. Every single time we have a model finishing up, so things like the Honda Insight or the Honda Accord, over the years, I always found when they were gone, we actually got a weird amount of inquiries afterwards because people come along who hadn't actually pulled the trigger on buying one when they were available, and they decided now is the time because it's the last chance they're going to have to buy one. And actually that's what happened. I always find when a car like this exists and it's literally no longer being made anymore, we start to get way more inquiries. And the other thing as well is, for some people, they're worried about, you know, should I buy a diesel car, should I not be buying something electric or hybrid?
The plain and simple fact is, somebody that's going to, like, the second-hand value of a car is determined by the demand for that car. In 5 years time, if you buy that car, keep it for 5 years, there's still going to be somebody looking for a 10 to 15 grand car that's easy on fuel. They don't care what's happening in the new market. They don't care about electric and all that stuff. They just want an easy way to get around that's easy on fuel. So I just don't think it's going to be a problem.
And anyway, the thing about it is, somebody that's going to buy a diesel car like this is a brilliant motorway cruiser. And somebody that's looking for an economical, frugal car, they're never going to work on a hybrid or electric car anyway. It's just not feasible for them at the moment. This particular car is a one-owner car from new. The customer that actually traded it back in, the reason that he traded it in was he was actually using the car to get to work, and then he started a job that was on the continent, so the car was sitting up. So he's decided to go into a much cheaper car because he's just not using the car enough anymore. I think this is a really nice car.
You'll see when we go for a drive in the car, the 9-speed gearbox in these, it makes really good use out of the power band on this diesel engine. And this particular one as well, like you're saying, has a couple of small little touches on it
that make it a little bit different than the other ones. So what I mean by that is, it's got a little splitter along the front, which is not common on them. And all that does is, it just makes the front bumper a little bit lower to the ground and a little bit more aggressive looking at the front. But it's not too low that you're going to be worried about it going over ramps. And it's nice and factory, and it's not in your face, just a subtle little touch.
So one other thing, normally from the factory, these cars come with, you see this chrome surround around the window all the way along through here.
Because there's so much black on this car, I actually felt it was better to get rid of the chrome.
So this one actually now has a gloss black surround all the way around where the chrome was.
I think that matches all the other black parts on the car much better. We're going to have a look around all that now anyway. What I mean is, when people are looking at cars, they miss some of the finer details that actually kind of add up to making the car a bit cool looking.
So on the likes of this car, like we're saying, it's got the really nice splitter along the front.
This is a gloss black nose along the front. It's got these big black grills over here, and originally there would have been a splitter down along the front as well. But when you move around to the side, those wheels are a nice diamond cut dark kind of finish, so they are shiny and reflective, and they look really cool when the sun shines on them. But they also match the black that's on the front. Previous owner actually bothered to go and buy the proper mud flap set, and they're actually quite expensive from Honda, 150 euros. They do protect the car. And the colour of this car is actually a white orchid pearl, so it's not a base white flat colour. This is actually a pearlescent colour. On a sunny day you can really see it, unfortunately.
Well, we just don't get enough of them kind of sunny days, but what I mean is,
when you look at the paint, there's actually a kind of a fleck in it. It's really hard to see, but on a sunny day it's a really nice colour because there's this kind of yellowy, goldy kind of effect on it. Like we were saying already then, the chrome has gone off the side, so it's completely black all the way around the windows, and the rear windows have a nice dark tint as well. And more black around on the back. There's a little splitter down low, big diffuser kind of area along here, grill, and then along here there's black around these taillights. There's a black spoiler. There's a nice colour coded one up here, and I think that's better colour coded, but actually it's there for a reason. It drags air down, and out the car in a really aerodynamic fashion. So that's the saying on this one. Little splitter along the front, the black around the windows, and that's it. It's black and white all the way around. Two complementary colours, I think. There's good contrast between the two of them. I'm not sure if you've ever driven behind one of these at night time, but the taillights are really cool at night. So you see the shape, it's like a C. See the way the C along here for Civic? It's a similar shape, and that's kind of really cool when it's on both sides. But the other thing as well is they have a nice LED finish all the way around the back of the light as well. This is Smart Plus model, which means it has parking sensors on the front and parking sensors on the rear. You see those here, these little side markers? Sounds like a small thing. I remember them on Volvos and stuff like that over the years, but at night time when you're driving behind one of these, you have these impressive taillights, but you can also see off in the corner just up here, this little side marker. Makes the car look really wide on the road when it's in front of you. Other cool stuff in this car is, well, the keys are going to have some functionality. So basically when you lock the car, the lights will turn off. You can also fold in the wing mirrors, or similarly, if you unlock the car, the lights will come back on. And you can also control the windows. So if you want to let the windows up, or if you want to let the windows down, you can use the key as well. One of the things about these cars, we actually have one of these cars at home. Actually, we have one of these cars at home with the same, I actually did the same thing in the splitter and the silver because I thought it was nice. Anyway, look, that's not what we're talking about. The boot's massive. We have one of these at home because the boot's massive. We sell lots of cars here at the garage, and this was, at the price point we were at, this was the best car that we could find with a really gigantic boot. This boot's in excellent condition, but it is a nearly new car. This slides across like so, or you can switch that around if you're left-handed and go the other way. And there's some storage down under here, or if you want, you can put a spare wheel down there as well. But there's really good storage down there, and the back seats fold down as well, and you end up with this really massive, so I've seen sometimes where I need to carry something awkward, you get this massive load area in the back once you let those seats down, and it's really convenient to drop it, and especially with the way that just pulls out of the way. Sometimes you have to take a parcel shelf out of a car, whereas this you can just retract it and keep it in the car. Onto the inside then, the back of these cars, everything's dark roof cloth, dark nylon seating, dark door cards, some brushed aluminium along here, speaker here, tweeter here, and that's the same in every door. So there's actually a really good sound system. 3 head restraints, 3 3-point safety belts, armrest up through the centre. And when I sit behind myself, this is the amount of headroom I have at 6 foot, and this is the amount of legroom as well. So I'd be very comfortable sitting in the back of the car. This car has had a super easy life in the back because it looks like almost nobody, if ever, has sat in the back of it. Moving up front then, electric through windows and mirrors, and again the same brushed aluminium and speaker setups that we talked about already. This seat is height adjustable, there is lumbar support for lower back along here, and the steering wheel is leather coated with a rake reach function, so it goes in and out as well as up and down, and the pedals underneath are aluminium as well. There's a ridiculous amount of safety in these Hondas, so even things like those head restraints, you can bring them forward to reduce how far your head goes back if you have an accident. I've got a driver's airbag, I've got it up high, I've got the side of my seat, the passenger gets the same treatment. All these doors have side impact protection beams. There's a couple of things on the steering wheel, one of them being where what it'll do is it'll vibrate the wheel if I drift across the white line, or the second one, it'll actively manage. So what it'll do is it'll actively try and keep you dead center on the lanes. Now what's cool about this is automatic, so it has a low speed follow function. So what I can do is I can set the cruise control up through here, and then I can say keep me whatever distance I want behind the car in front. But low speed follow means I could probably drive behind another car all the way into Dublin. Once they slow down for traffic, if I have my cruise control set, this car is going to follow them and slow down and keep the same distance behind them. So it technically means I could probably get to Dublin and never use the brake pedal. Obviously these are just assists even, and you know, you are the driver, you are in control, but it does make life easier. The wipers are automated, the lights are automated for daytime, nighttime, and also when you meet traffic they dip. Like we were saying then, this is a 9-speed auto, drive, neutral, reverse, park. Handbrake is automated, so I engage by doing this, but if I drive away, I just drive away and it automatically releases. Econ reduces how aggressive the cruise control and air conditioner is, and this is just auto stop start. Brake hold keeps the brakes depressed, so yeah, on an automatic car I don't think it's as useful because they don't tend to roll backwards on hills and stuff anyway. The infotainment system, climate's in through there, touch and swipe, where do you want the air to blow, different temperature for driver versus passenger. Front windscreen demister, rear windscreen demister, and the wing mirrors. Dead handy when you're driving the motorway during the winter. Over through here. Navigation, which is Garmin. After that then, you've got audio functionality, which is going to be via USB or Bluetooth, or obviously AM and FM, so lots of different sources. Speaking of, actually, there's a USB point in here, in this movable armrest, drinks holder, which actually doubles up into 2 drinks holders. And then there's a USB connector, second one, down through here. And that one's actually going to support Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. So the smartphone connection
Allows you to use Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, so essentially you can use some of the apps that are on your Apple phone or your Android phone, Spotify, Audible, different mapping, I think YouTube Premium, there's a load of stuff, YouTube Music as well. It's really cool. And as we said already, there's a front and rear park sensor setup, and you've also got a reverse camera with different modes, and it's got trajectory lines as well, which tells you what direction you're traveling. Because it's automatic, it has paddle shifter, so I can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, or I can go 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I like using the paddles, it engages more and it makes it feel a little bit more sporty. This is a trip computer, average speed, fuel efficiency, how much fuel is left in the tank. Even things like there's a speed sign recognition function here. So when you're driving at the road, the car will see a speed sign and it'll tell you what it is. Yeah, okay, that's fair enough, that's, you know, not bad. What's cool about that is, you can set a speed limiter. So the speed limiter will respect the speed sign and it'll cut the power and slow you down to keep you within speed zones as you come into a town. Of course, it's always hard to describe how a car is to drive, but I suppose my impressions are when you drive these, they're low, they're wide, they feel sporty to drive, and there's good visibility all the way around, and it's a nice functional cabin which is aimed at the driver. In terms of, I suppose, how they feel on the road, they're low to the ground, but there's independent suspension all the way around, so I find on back roads these are a really sure-footed car. They make you confident if you want to drive it on a little bit. But for most people they'll be very pleasurable as a cruiser. But again, if you're an idiot like me, you will want to drive it on a bit and enjoy the sporty part. So if you press the drive button, it also engages a sport function. So if I go for S, you'll see the way the engine revolutions pep up. If I go to D, it's a much more relaxed setup. And the other thing as well is I've also got paddles, like we talked about earlier, that allow me to go up and down through gears. Again, that's more engaging, it's more sporty, and it's more fun to drive. Whether you buy a manual or automatic version of these, is the exact same engine, but if you remember earlier in the video I said to you that this automatic gearbox seems to make better power, or better use of the power in this engine. The first and second and third are so close together, it actually puts the power down better, so this feels like a much quicker car to get up through the rev range and get up as far as 120 kilometers an hour compared to its manual counterpart. It's really enjoyable to drive, but it can still be a frugal car as well that can return over 60 miles per gallon. So here's the thing, if you're somebody that wants a really well equipped car, but you want a car that's actually frugal, you want a car that can be sporty when you want to drive it, but you also want a car that can be quite relaxing when you want to cruise as well, then I think this is a car that you're going to get some excellent driving out of. And I like this one because it has those small subtle little differences like the splitter and the D-chrome, which just makes it a bit different than the other ones out there. Anyway, if you want more information on the car, please do not hesitate to give me a shout. Brian's my name, Fitzpatrick's Garage, Dublin Road, Kildare, a family run business in operation for almost 70 years. Thanks for watching, guys.